Welcome back everyone. Today we are going to code. I know that we've been talking mostly about math and physics, but today we're going to try something different. And this is the first question in Project Euler. Let's see how it goes. And as you can see, the question here is like you want to find the sum of all multiples of 3 or 5 below 1000. So like we have a sample case up there which says that like if it's below 10, we got 3, 5, 6, and 9. You add them up, you get 23. So although you might want to solve this using a for loop, there is a different way to solve this, and I'll be showing that to you today. So let's get started. We are going to be using Python to execute this, so brace yourself. So now let's start off by asking the user to input their value. And for that, I'll need to create a variable, which is input, which would be equal to input of, alright, and by the way, that's an integer input, so I'm just going to say enter the number before which you want the sum of all multiples of 3 or 5. And now that we have that, let's see if that works. Let's run that piece of snippet. Now that's 100. Alright, now that we don't know that what's been entered, so let's just try playing that variable. So that's 100. Alright, so this works. Now let's get back to solving this problem, which is you may want to use a for loop and say whatever, like for I equals 0 and until I is less than 1000. But guess what? That one might work here, but it's got a huge problem, which is algorithmic inefficiency. So to combat that, there's a direct formula to solve this. Alright, the formula is n integer divided by m times n integer divided by m plus 1 times m divided by 2. Alright, you don't believe me this works, but wait and watch, it's gonna work. So let's go back and now say the answer equals 0. And so we're going to be adding something to the answer, which is input minus 1 integer divided by 3, because that's the first number in our ranks. And now let's just multiply that by 3 as well, and let's just do this again. So it's the input number minus 1. Now I just got to get the right brackets around it. Minus 1 integer divided by 3 plus 1 divided by 2. So that's the first part we're going to add. And now we're going to go ahead and add the second part, which is with 5, since we want the answer for 5 too. And now we're going to copy this over here and paste that there and replace all the 3's with 5's. Alright, and let's replace the last one too. But hey, this may sound okay, but do you know what the real problem is? This adds the numbers twice, like the numbers that are multiples of 3 or 5, or the numbers that are multiples of 15 are added twice. So we don't want that, so let's just subtract the sum of all multiples of 15, because they've been added once already. And now let's go ahead and do that. So that's 15. Also, this might be too complicated of an expression to add there, so I'm just going to say answer add. And now we're going to add this to the answer. And now let's display the answer to see what it is. Alright, so let's try 10. And the answer is 23, just like sample case. Now let's try 1000. I'm not sure what the answer should be, but we can always check it. So it happens to be 233168. Now I could go ahead and change that to an int type, but it's really not going to make a difference because it's only one decimal point. The proof of the formula I used would be a part of a future video, so stay tuned. I hope you enjoyed this. Please do let me know if you want to see some more code snippets or any row problems. Until next time.